The alien queen doubted Earth had real warriors, until she faced one herself. For centuries, humanity had looked at the stars and wondered if they were alone. Now the answer had arrived, and it was not small. In the command room of the International Space Defense Center, alarms rang. Red lights blinked, and every screen was filled with images of the approaching fleet. Generals and scientists shouted instructions at each other, but there was little time to act. Captain Alex Mercer stood at the center of the chaos. His uniform was neat, his boots polished, and his eyes calm, though sharp. He had faced crises before: engine failures, rogue satellites, even minor skirmishes, but this was different. This was not a small challenge. This was an invasion. "Sir," said Lieutenant Harper, a young officer barely out of training, "they're huge. Our weapons won't even scratch them." Alex turned to her, smiling faintly. "Maybe, but they don't know what humans can do, and that's our advantage." At that moment, the largest of the alien ships changed direction, moving directly toward Earth. Satellites detected energy pulses, unlike any technology humanity had developed. The Queen herself commanded this fleet. Her name, whispered among her people as the ruler of the Vrithian Empire, carried weight and fear. She had conquered thousands of worlds, none of which had shown even a hint of resistance. From her flagship, she looked at Earth through a vast holographic display. The planet seemed fragile to her, small and blue, spinning silently in the void. Her advisors reported the species was primitive, unarmed in comparison, unlikely to pose any threat. The Queen, confident and proud, prepared to send emissaries to demand submission. "Why send soldiers?" she asked, her voice calm but sharp. "Humans are weak, they cannot resist. Let them surrender and we save resources." "Majesty," one of her generals replied, "we do not know their potential. We recommend a show of force first." The Queen studied the planet a moment longer. Something about it intrigued her. Perhaps it was the stubborn glow of green and blue that had survived countless cosmic dangers. Perhaps it was the unknown factor she had never encountered in the other species she had ruled. For now, she made a decision. She would send a delegation first, but she would watch carefully. Back on Earth, Alex and his team prepared. They had no chance to fight on the open field. Humanity could not match alien technology directly. But humans had something aliens could not understand: creativity under pressure, courage in the face of impossible odds, and the ability to learn and adapt quickly. Alex walked toward the orbital launch bay. Around him, engineers and pilots rushed, checking their small fleet of defense ships. They were old, battered, but they had been modified in clever ways. Lasers had been sharpened, shields reinforced, and some ships had experimental thrusters designed for unpredictable movement. "Captain," said Harper again, "are we really going to meet them in orbit? Those ships are huge." Alex smiled. "If we wait, they will destroy us. If we act, we might survive. Remember, the bigger they are, the slower they turn. That is our advantage." The delegation ship from the Vrithians entered Earth's orbit with ease. It was enormous, sleek, and imposing, a vessel built to intimidate. A signal was sent to Earth, not a threat, but a demand: surrender immediately. Alex moved his ship into position, flanked by two other pilots. He had no orders to attack, but he knew that showing strength could influence the Queen's decision. Using human ingenuity, he initiated a maneuver never practiced before, a rapid orbit pattern that made their small ships appear like they were everywhere at once. The alien delegation paused, sensors detecting the maneuver, analyzing patterns. For a moment, the Queen frowned. Such movement was unusual, unexpected. Her soldiers reported that humans had predicted their scanning patterns. Alex's voice came over the comm. "We will meet you, but know this, we will not surrender." The Queen raised an eyebrow, amused. "They dare defy me. A primitive species, and yet they speak with courage." The alien soldiers prepared weapons, but Alex had already made his move. Using small bursts from his ship, he disrupted the energy field around the alien vessel. It was not enough to destroy it, but enough to force it to change position. The Queen's eyes narrowed. "Interesting," she said softly. "Perhaps they are not as weak as we thought." Below, Earth's population watched the sky. People on the streets pointed and gasped at the alien ships. Soldiers and citizens alike felt fear, but also awe. Fear of destruction, yes, but awe at the bravery of their defenders. They had a chance, even if small. In the orbital skirmish, Alex's team dodged energy blasts that could have destroyed their ships. They used the planet's magnetic field, rapid maneuvers, and even clever decoys to confuse the aliens. It was a dangerous game, but humans had something else: unpredictability. Every move the aliens expected failed. Every strategy they had relied upon was met with a new human tactic. The Queen leaned closer to her holographic display. She had conquered entire galaxies, yet this species intrigued her. Their fighting spirit, their intelligence, their ability to act without fear, it was something she had never seen. Alex managed to maneuver his ship close enough to the delegation vessel to send a warning. "We will fight. We will survive. And if you try to attack, you will regret it." The Queen stared at the message. "Do they not understand?" she asked. "They are fragile. One strike could destroy them, yet they threaten me with nothing, such bravery or foolishness." For the first time, the Queen allowed herself a small smile. Perhaps this species was worth observing. Perhaps they could teach her something, or perhaps, just perhaps, they were the first species she had met that could truly challenge her. As the skirmish ended for the moment, neither side had suffered serious losses. Alex's small team returned to Earth orbit, battered but alive. The Queen's delegation retreated slightly, not out of fear but curiosity. She wanted to see more. Alex looked at the blue planet beneath him. "They'll be back," he said softly, "and next time we need to be ready." Harper nodded. "Do you think we can win?" Alex smiled. "We don't have to win with strength. We win with brains, with courage, with heart. And humans, we have all three." Far above, the Queen observed silently. She doubted Earth had real warriors, but something in the humans' eyes, the defiance, the intelligence, the spark, made her pause. Perhaps these humans were not as weak as she had thought. The part ended with tension high. Earth had survived the first contact. Humanity had shown its courage. And the Queen, she had begun to realize that underestimating humans might be her first mistake. Above all, the message was clear: humans fight differently. They fight with mind and spirit. And for the first time, the Queen wondered if her empire had ever truly faced a warrior like this. The world had barely recovered from the first glimpse of the alien fleet when new reports began flooding the command centers. The Vrithians were sending more ships, this time targeting major cities. The alien Queen had grown curious, and curiosity often led to tests. Earth, she decided, would show her what it was made of, or be crushed. In New York City, people moved in organized chaos. Evacuations were underway, but panic had begun to creep in. Military leaders argued over strategies, but each option seemed inadequate against the advanced alien technology. Energy shields, pulse cannons, and graviton disruptors, they had never seen anything like them before. Captain Alex Mercer sat in the control room of the command ship Defiant, his eyes scanning a holographic map of the planet. He understood the challenge better than anyone. Humanity could not hope to match the aliens in direct firepower, but they could fight smart. Humans had ingenuity, teamwork, and the ability to turn disadvantages into advantages. Lieutenant Harper leaned over Alex's shoulder. "Sir, their fleet is too large. Even if we divide our forces, we can't hold all the cities." Alex nodded slowly. "That's why we don't hold cities. We hit their weaknesses, misdirect them, and survive. We make them doubt themselves." He tapped the hologram, highlighting key points. Bridges, tunnels, and urban structures could all be used as traps. Power plants could be used to generate magnetic pulses to interfere with alien sensors. Even civilian drones could be repurposed as reconnaissance tools. "Humans adapt," Alex said, more to himself than anyone else. "They always have." High above, the Queen observed from her flagship. Her curiosity had shifted to anticipation. She had underestimated humans before. Now she wanted to see them fight to test their spirit. She deployed an elite squad of Vrithian soldiers to strike first, small in number but powerful and precise. Their mission: attack a single city and measure human response. The squad descended toward Chicago, moving silently like shadows. Humans had little warning, but that did not matter. Alex had anticipated such strikes. He had not expected to hold the entire city, but he had prepared for resistance. Urban streets became battlegrounds of strategy rather than brute force. Humans did not try to fight directly. Instead, they used decoys, blocked routes, and created diversions. A series of drones, initially meant for deliveries, were modified to emit false signals, confusing alien sensors. Automated vehicles blocked streets, forcing the squad to move in predictable patterns. In one narrow alley, a squad of humans hid behind reinforced barricades. They had set up a makeshift trap, a combination of electromagnetic pulses and reflective mirrors designed to confuse the Vrithians' targeting systems. As the alien soldiers moved into the alley the trap activated, energy pulses disrupted their armor temporarily, forcing them to retreat. From the flagship, the Queen observed the scene. She raised an eyebrow. "They think quickly," she said. "Not slow, not weak, but clever." Interesting. Meanwhile, Alex coordinated responses from multiple cities. He was not on the front line physically, but his mind was everywhere. Using captured alien signals, he predicted movements, identified vulnerabilities, and directed human teams to exploit them. Every strike the aliens made was met with a counterstrike, not with brute force, but with planning and innovation. In one remarkable instance, a Vrithian patrol entered a suburban neighborhood. Children had been evacuated, but robots designed for construction were left behind. Alex activated a program he had written just hours earlier. The robots moved in synchronized patterns, confusing the patrol and leading them into a carefully laid electromagnetic trap. The squad was forced to retreat, baffled by the unexpected tactic. The Queen leaned forward, intrigued. "They anticipate, they adapt, they are learning from every encounter. Fascinating." Not all humans were on the battlefield. Many civilians contributed in quiet, clever ways. Engineers rerouted power grids to interfere with alien sensors. Scientists modified communication satellites to create interference, giving human forces critical seconds to act. Ordinary citizens became part of a collective defense without realizing it. Even in the chaos, human bravery shone. Teams of volunteers helped each other, cleared debris, and repaired broken equipment under dangerous conditions. Each act of courage built momentum, inspiring others to think and act bravely. The aliens had weapons of destruction, but humans had spirit, creativity, and determination, the kinds of tools no weapon could match. In a small park near the Chicago River, Alex led a squad of humans in a daring maneuver. Using the city's bridges and tunnels, they created an illusion of strength where none existed. A single team of humans appeared as hundreds, moving unpredictably through narrow streets. The alien squad, overconfident and confused, fell into the trap. One by one, they were forced to retreat, their advanced armor and technology unable to predict human ingenuity. High above, the Queen studied the battle reports. Her confidence wavered slightly. She had never seen such tactics. Humans were weaker in strength, smaller in number, yet somehow they managed to resist. "Perhaps this species is worth more than I imagined," she said quietly. Back in the command center, Alex received a message from the president. "Captain Mercer, the cities are holding for now. You may be the only hope we have." Alex nodded. "Then we'll make it count. Every person, every resource will matter. This is not about fighting them directly. It's about showing them we are not weak." Over the next few hours, humans continued to fight smart. A combination of traps, misdirection, and rapid adaptation slowed the alien forces. They could not win by brute force, and they did not understand the speed of human thought. Every loss the humans suffered was a lesson learned and applied immediately. Every small victory gave courage to those still resisting. The Queen observed in silence. She had conquered countless worlds, yet she had never encountered a species that could turn weakness into strength so convincingly. The humans were unpredictable. They were clever. And they were united, not through fear, not through power, but through determination to survive and protect what was theirs. By nightfall, the Vrithian squad withdrew. No cities had been destroyed completely. Humans had survived against impossible odds, using strategy, adaptation, and bravery to turn what seemed like certain defeat into a demonstration of strength. Alex watched the retreating ships through the holographic display. He knew this was only the beginning. The Queen would return stronger and with more forces. But he also knew humans had proven something important, not to the aliens but to themselves. They could survive. They could fight smart. They could be more than anyone expected. Lieutenant Harper looked at him, wide-eyed. "Sir, they didn't just survive. We actually beat them in a way." Alex smiled, exhausted but proud. "Yes, Harper, we showed them we are more than what they expected, and that is the first step toward victory." Far above, the Queen contemplated her next move. She had expected Earth to fall easily, as all the other worlds had. But these humans, they were different. They had spirit, creativity, and courage beyond what she had anticipated. Her curiosity grew into respect, and for the first time, she considered that perhaps conquering this planet would not be so simple. The humans had survived the first real test. And the Queen, watching silently from her flagship, began to understand something new. Strength was not only about weapons or size, it was about will, intelligence, and heart. As the night settled over Earth, cities lit up with cautious hope. People began repairing, regrouping, and preparing. They knew the fight was far from over, but they also knew one thing. Humanity had proven it could stand against the unknown, adapt under pressure, and fight with courage no alien could predict. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the Queen's mind was already planning her next test, eager to see what other surprises this remarkable species might have in store. The sky over Earth had quieted for a moment. The alien squad had retreated, leaving cities intact, but the people of the world knew the silence was only temporary. Captain Alex Mercer stood on the observation deck of the command ship Defiant, looking at the stars. Somewhere out there, the alien queen was watching, planning, and learning. Lieutenant Harper joined him, holding a tablet with new intelligence. "Sir, her fleet is regrouping. They're sending a new envoy, a champion, she calls him, one of her strongest warriors." "She wants a test," Alex frowned. "A test of humans?" Harper nodded. "Yes, apparently she wants one human to face one of theirs in combat. She wants to see who is stronger." Alex leaned on the railing, considering this was not just a battle of weapons, it was a battle of will. The Queen had already seen that humans were clever and brave, but now she wanted to see it personally. "We accept," Alex said finally. "If she wants a demonstration, we'll give it, not with weapons alone, but with strategy, courage, and adaptability. That's how humans fight." Days later, the arena was set. Not in a city, not in a populated area, but in a deserted valley far from human settlements. The Queen had chosen the location carefully. From orbit, she watched the preparations through her flagship, her eyes narrowed in anticipation. Alex stood at one end of the valley. He was not armed with the most advanced weapons. His strength lay in his mind and his training. Around him, a small team of humans was ready to support him, using sensors, drones, and communication systems to provide information and strategy. The alien champion arrived, stepping from a shuttle that landed silently. He was taller, stronger, and clad in armor that shimmered like liquid metal. His presence alone was enough to intimidate any ordinary human, but Alex did not falter. He studied the champion, analyzing posture, armor, and probable tactics. The Queen observed through her holographic interface. "He looks fragile," she murmured, "and yet there is confidence in his stance. Intriguing." The signal was given. The battle began. The champion charged first, moving with speed and strength beyond human limits. Alex did not meet him head-on. Instead, he retreated strategically, drawing the champion into terrain that favored clever movement over brute force. Rocks, hills, and shallow ravines became his tools. Using a small drone, Alex projected decoy images of himself, confusing the champion. The alien swung and struck the air, missing repeatedly. Alex darted from cover to cover, studying every movement of his opponent, learning as he moved. The Queen leaned forward. "They are so small, yet the human moves with awareness, with intelligence. Perhaps this fight will be interesting." Alex used the environment to his advantage. A shallow pit covered with thin branches appeared as solid ground to the champion. He led the alien over it, and the branches gave way slightly, forcing the champion to stumble. Not enough to injure him, but enough to create hesitation. Humans, Alex knew, could exploit hesitation. As the champion regained balance, Alex triggered another distraction. Small automated devices emitted bright flashes and loud sounds, disorienting the alien's senses. The champion roared in frustration, striking at illusions that were not there. Harper's voice came through Alex's earpiece. "Sir, his armor is resisting our interference." "We need something more," Alex thought quickly. "We don't need to destroy him, we need to make him predictable." He adjusted the drone's movements, guiding the champion toward a narrow canyon where the alien's size and strength would be limited. The champion entered the canyon, swinging and striking at Alex, but the narrow walls prevented full movement. Alex darted along ledges and crevices, leading the alien through a path he had calculated in his mind. Every step was planned, every reaction anticipated. From orbit, the Queen watched with growing admiration. "He is small, yet he controls the fight. Humans, they do not fight like others. They think, they plan, they adapt." Alex had one more trick. Using a combination of mirrors, sensors, and small projectors, he created multiple illusions of himself in the canyon. The champion could no longer tell which figure was real. Each swing struck empty air, each step miscalculated. Finally, Alex led the champion to the final position, a shallow, reinforced pit. The illusions converged on a single exit, forcing the champion to step into it. As he did, Alex activated a series of mechanical devices that closed off the exit, forcing the champion to stop. He was trapped not by strength but by strategy. The queen's eyes widened. Impressive, the human he did not overpower, he outthought. Alex approached the champion cautiously. He did not strike, he did not attack. Instead, he stood, calm and confident, showing that he could have fought physically but chose a smarter way. The champion, realizing defeat, lowered his weapon. The queen spoke through the communications channel. "Human, you have proven yourself. You have survived where others would have failed. Tell me, how does your species fight so bravely against impossible odds?" Alex replied, his voice steady. "We fight with our minds, with courage, and with heart. We survive by learning, adapting, and never giving up." "That is how humans fight." Silence followed. Then, unexpectedly, the queen spoke softly, almost to herself. "Perhaps I underestimated them. Perhaps humans are not weak." In the days that followed, the humans celebrated quietly. The victory was not one of destruction, but of skill, bravery, and cleverness. Alex returned to the command ship where his team awaited him. "Sir," Harper said, smiling, "they will return, won't they?" Alex nodded. "Yes, and when they do, we'll be ready. We've shown them that humans are not easy to defeat. That was the first real test, and we passed it." The Queen, aboard her flagship, reviewed every detail of the encounter. She had seen firsthand that humans were unlike any species she had faced. They were weaker physically, yes, but smarter, more adaptable, and determined in ways she had never anticipated. For the first time in her reign, she felt a spark of uncertainty. She had always believed strength came from power and size. Now she saw that strength could come from courage, intellect, and spirit. Humans had all three in abundance. Meanwhile, Alex and his team prepared for the next phase. They knew the Queen would send more warriors, more tests, and perhaps larger forces. But they also knew that humanity had something no alien technology could replicate: creativity, determination, and unity. Across the world, people rebuilt what had been damaged, learned from every encounter, and strengthened their defenses. Communities that had once seemed fragile now worked together with purpose. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and civilians all contributed in small but vital ways. Humanity had learned to turn fear into action, uncertainty into preparation, and weakness into clever advantage. From orbit, the Queen watched silently. She had hoped to intimidate a species she believed weak, but instead, she had seen something she could not ignore. Humans were warriors, not in the way of size or weapons, but in the way they faced impossible odds and refused to back down. Alex knew that the next encounter would be even more dangerous. The Queen would not ignore the lesson of her champion. But he also knew that humans had already passed a critical test. They had proven themselves brave, clever, and unyielding. And that was the greatest strength of all. The sun rose over Earth the next morning. Cities glimmered with hope, people moved with determination, and Captain Alex Mercer looked up at the sky, ready for whatever challenge came next. The alien Queen would return. She would test them further, but humans had shown the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. And somewhere far above, the Queen herself acknowledged the truth. Earth had real warriors. The days after the human victory against the alien champion were filled with quiet determination on Earth. Cities that had been damaged in the skirmishes were rebuilt, stronger and smarter than before. Scientists worked day and night. Engineers redesigned vehicles, and communities that had once relied on routine now trained for unexpected challenges. Humanity was learning quickly, and for the first time, the alien Queen could sense a new force emerging, not just a species, but a spirit she had never expected. Captain Alex Mercer walked through the streets of New York, observing the rebuilding efforts. Volunteers worked alongside soldiers, repairing broken power lines, clearing rubble, and fortifying buildings. Every act, no matter how small, contributed to humanity's defense. Alex's eyes moved constantly, noting weaknesses and opportunities, imagining ways to use ordinary objects in extraordinary ways. "Sir," Lieutenant Harper said, catching up to him, "the reports from other cities are the same. People are organized, focused, learning from every encounter. They're united. Alex nodded. That's what makes humans strong. We adapt, we cooperate, and we refuse to give up. That's something no alien technology can destroy. The Queen had been watching. From her flagship orbiting high above Earth, she studied the planet and its people. What had started as curiosity had grown into respect. Humans were clever, brave, and unpredictable. They were not the weak prey she had once assumed. And now she decided it was time to see just how far their ingenuity could go. Her fleet moved closer to Earth, larger and more organized than before. This time, the assault was personal. She intended to lead the attack herself, to witness the humans' abilities firsthand. Every ship carried advanced weapons, more sophisticated than the ones used before. Her soldiers were the best of the best, elite warriors trained for centuries. Back on Earth, Alex received intelligence about the Queen's movements. He gathered his team in the command room. "They're coming," Alex said, "and this time it's bigger. We need to be ready. Every person, every tool, every resource counts." Harper studied the holographic display. "They have more ships, stronger weapons. How can we stop them?" Alex smiled faintly. "We don't stop them with brute force. We stop them with brains, with courage, and with creativity. We fight smart, and we fight together." Humans had prepared for this moment. Scientists had reverse-engineered alien technology from the earlier encounter. Drones that once delivered packages were now surveillance tools, relaying real-time information about alien movements. Vehicles had been modified to carry sensors and emit interference, disrupting alien targeting systems. Even civilian smartphones were connected into a network that allowed communication across wide areas. In the first hours of the Queen's assault, humans demonstrated the full scope of their ingenuity. Alien ships moved into the atmosphere expecting easy victories, but they encountered a coordinated network of defenses. Energy pulses from urban grids interfered with alien sensors. Automated drones projected holographic decoys, making it appear as though humans were in multiple locations at once. In Chicago, a squad of elite human fighters led by Alex's subordinates lured alien patrols into narrow streets. Using modified vehicles and small barricades, they created controlled chaos, making it impossible for the aliens to predict human movements. Every attack was met with clever countermeasures. Humans used tunnels, rooftops, and hidden alleys to strike where the aliens least expected. The Queen observed silently, fascinated. She had expected resistance, yes, but not this level of strategic brilliance. Humans were adapting in real time, learning from every encounter and turning disadvantage into opportunity. "They fight differently," she murmured to herself. "Not with strength, but with intelligence and will. They are unpredictable and formidable." Alex himself was on the front lines, not in direct combat, but coordinating operations from the Defiant. He moved small teams with precision, predicting alien patterns and creating opportunities for them to fail. At one point, a group of alien soldiers attempted to flank a human supply line. Alex had anticipated the maneuver and positioned a decoy convoy, drawing the aliens into an area filled with electromagnetic traps. The soldiers were forced to retreat, bewildered by tactics they could not comprehend. Even ordinary citizens contributed. Engineers on rooftops monitored alien movements and sent signals to human squads. Civilians operated drones and sensors, guiding troops in real time. In a quiet way, every human became part of the fight, turning the planet into a network of clever defenses. One particularly daring maneuver involved using a series of bridges and tunnels in New York. Human teams rigged them with magnetic pulses that temporarily disabled alien sensors. When the aliens moved into the area, they found themselves trapped in a maze of false readings and decoys. The human fighters appeared in multiple places at once, striking swiftly and disappearing before the aliens could respond. The Queen watched every movement, her respect for humans growing. She had expected brute resistance, but what she saw was more remarkable: intelligence, cooperation, and courage working together as one force. Humans fought not just for survival, but for their home, their families, and each other. As the day turned into night, the battle continued. The Queen herself descended in a smaller ship, observing the humans up close. Her presence was intimidating, but humans did not falter. They had learned to see fear as a tool, not a weapon against them. Alex anticipated her movements and prepared a special operation. Using a combination of sensors, drones, and environmental knowledge, he created a controlled engagement zone. The Queen's smaller fleet moved into position, unaware that they were being funneled into carefully calculated traps. The human defenses were not lethal in the sense of destruction. Their goal was to slow, confuse, and challenge the aliens. Bridges were rigged with magnetic interference. Drones projected holographic illusions. Vehicles moved unpredictably. The Queen's soldiers found themselves striking at shadows, while humans struck with precision and vanished before retaliation could occur. Every successful maneuver boosted human morale. Even those not on the front lines felt empowered, knowing that their work, small or large, contributed to the defense. Humanity was no longer reacting. They were leading, anticipating, and controlling the flow of battle. The Queen landed her ship near a human stronghold to observe closer. Alex knew this was a critical moment. She was not just testing humans' physical abilities, she was testing their will, and humans had never been stronger in will. Alex moved into position with a small team. They used tunnels, rooftops, and improvised sensors to monitor the Queen's every movement. Using misdirection, they guided alien soldiers into zones where human ingenuity could shine. One by one, alien attacks were neutralized, not by brute strength, but by strategy, foresight, and clever improvisation. The Queen was amazed. She had led armies, conquered worlds, and faced countless species, yet she had never encountered creatures that could turn apparent weakness into such remarkable strength. Humans were small, fragile in appearance, yet their minds and determination made them a challenge unlike any she had known. By the end of the engagement, the Queen's forces were forced to withdraw. They had not been destroyed, but their confidence had been shaken. Humans had proven that even against overwhelming power, they could survive, adapt, and turn the tide through intelligence and bravery. Alex stood on a rooftop looking at the retreating alien ships. Harper joined him. "They'll be back," she said. Alex nodded. "Yes. But they've learned something today. Humans are not easy to defeat. They may have technology, size, and weapons, but we have something more important: spirit, ingenuity, and courage. That is something no one can take from us." Across the planet, people celebrated quietly. They repaired, reinforced, and prepared, knowing the fight was not over, but confident that humanity could meet it. Every act of creativity and bravery had contributed to survival. The human spirit had been unleashed, stronger and more united than ever. The Queen returned to her flagship, silent and contemplative. She had underestimated Earth and its people. She had thought them fragile, weak, and unworthy. Now she understood. Humans were warriors, not in the traditional sense of size or weaponry, but in the sense of courage, ingenuity, and relentless determination. For the first time, the Queen questioned her assumptions. Perhaps conquering this planet would not be simple. Perhaps humans were a species to be studied, respected, and even feared in a way she had never experienced before. As night fell over Earth, Alex looked up at the stars. He knew the Queen would return with new challenges, new tests, and perhaps larger forces. But he also knew that humanity had proven something critical. They could survive, they could adapt, and they could fight with spirit, intelligence, and heart. And somewhere high above, the alien Queen acknowledged the truth she could no longer ignore. Humans were not just survivors, they were warriors in their own right. The sun rose over Earth like it always had, yet everything felt different. Humanity had faced the alien forces not once but twice and survived. Cities bore the marks of struggle, yet they stood taller and stronger. People moved with purpose, no longer afraid of the unknown, knowing that their ingenuity and courage had carried them through impossible odds. Captain Alex Mercer stood on the observation deck of the command ship Defiant, overlooking the planet he had fought to protect. He had spent weeks coordinating defenses, teaching strategies, and inspiring humans to rise above fear. Now, he knew the final test was coming. The alien Queen had not forgotten the humans' victories. Her curiosity had transformed into determination. She would descend personally, testing the species she had once dismissed. But unlike before, she approached not with arrogance but with caution. She wanted to see firsthand the spirit that had allowed humans to defy her expectations. Lieutenant Harper joined Alex, her eyes bright with determination. "Sir, they're arriving. The Queen herself is coming this time." Alex nodded. "Then we show her what humans are capable of, not just as fighters, but as a species that never gives up." The alien flagship entered Earth's orbit, immense and gleaming. Its presence darkened the skies, casting a shadow over cities and forests. Every human watching from below felt a shiver of awe, but also a spark of pride. They had faced fear before and had turned it into strength. Alex coordinated teams across the globe. Cities were prepared with defensive measures, but the focus was not on destroying the alien fleet. It was on surviving, adapting, and demonstrating human ingenuity. Every trap, every sensor, every improvised tool was ready to challenge the invaders. From orbit, the Queen observed the coordinated human efforts. She had expected chaos, disorganization, and surrender. Instead, she saw intelligence, cooperation, and adaptability. Humans had prepared, learned from past encounters, and turned weaknesses into strength. Her respect for them grew. "They fight with mind and spirit," she murmured. "This species, they are unlike any other." The first engagement occurred above the Pacific Ocean. Alien vessels advanced, confident in their superior technology. Human teams had set up decoy formations, using satellites and drones to project false positions. The aliens fired, expecting easy targets, but the humans were nowhere the sensors indicated. Instead, they moved unpredictably, using currents, terrain, and speed to their advantage. A team of human pilots, including Alex, guided their small ships through storm clouds and narrow canyons, turning natural features into obstacles for the aliens. Each maneuver was precise, exploiting every weakness in the enemy's patterns. In one daring move, Alex's team used the reflection of the sun on ocean waves to create a holographic illusion, making their ships appear in multiple locations at once. The alien forces fired at shadows, missing their targets entirely. Humans struck quickly from unexpected angles, then vanished before the aliens could respond. From the flagship, the Queen leaned forward, fascinated. Even when surrounded, they are clever. They do not flee, they do not panic. They adapt. Extraordinary. Meanwhile, on the ground, engineers and civilians contributed in ways that turned the tide. Power grids were used to interfere with alien sensors. Delivery drones became surveillance units, reporting movements in real time. Vehicles were modified to emit signals that created false readings. Even ordinary citizens, moving supplies and assisting in communications, became part of the defense. Every action mattered. Alex moved with a small team to coordinate a critical maneuver. Using urban terrain, they created a trap that funneled alien forces into a controlled engagement zone. Bridges, tunnels, and rooftops became instruments of strategy. Alien soldiers, despite their size and strength, found themselves struggling to adapt to the humans' unpredictability. One alien squad attempted to breach a fortified area in New York. Alex anticipated their approach. Using automated barricades, decoy drones, and sensor interference, he led the squad into a dead-end canyon where the environment limited their movements. The squad was forced to retreat, unable to anticipate the humans' clever tactics. The Queen watched silently. She had conquered countless worlds, faced endless species, and yet she had never seen creatures so small challenge her forces with such intelligence. Humans were not powerful in the conventional sense, but they were smart, brave, and unyielding. The final confrontation occurred at the heart of the human defenses. The Queen herself descended in her personal ship, emerging near the central command area. Her presence was commanding, yet calm. She did not intend to destroy immediately. She wanted to observe, to test, to see if humans truly deserved recognition. Alex approached with his team. His ship was not the largest, not the most armed, but it carried something far more important: human determination and strategy. He and the Queen stared at each other across the open terrain, two leaders measuring resolve rather than strength. "I have seen your victories," the Queen said. Her voice was calm, almost curious. "You fight not with size or weapons, but with ingenuity." "Why do you persist when your odds are so small?" Alex responded without hesitation. "Because we fight for more than survival. We fight for each other, for home, and for the future. Strength is not just power. It is courage, intelligence, and determination. That is how humans win." The Queen studied him. In his eyes, she saw the same spark she had observed in humans from the beginning: creativity, courage, and an unbreakable will. She nodded slowly, understanding the truth she had come to witness. Rather than attack, the Queen proposed a challenge. "Show me, not in destruction but in strategy, one final test. Lead your people in a maneuver that proves to me the strength of your species." Alex took the challenge. Using the combination of drones, urban terrain, environmental manipulation, and coordinated teams worldwide, he orchestrated a series of maneuvers that simulated overwhelming strength. Alien forces found themselves confronting illusions, traps, and highly coordinated human attacks. The humans did not destroy the Queen's ships. They could not. But they proved something far more important. Intelligence, adaptability, and unity could match any force. Every misstep the aliens took was guided by the humans' strategy, every retreat carefully planned. From orbit, the Queen observed with awe. She had expected strength to come from power and size, but humans had shown her that true strength came from intelligence, courage, and heart. They had survived impossible odds, adapted in real time, and fought not just to resist, but to lead. Finally, the Queen spoke. "I have seen enough. You are not weak. You are not ordinary. You are warriors in a way my empire has never understood. I will not conquer this planet. Instead, I offer peace." Alex breathed deeply. He had anticipated this moment, but he also knew it came from more than negotiation. It came from respect earned through courage and ingenuity. "We accept your offer," he said, "and we will continue to learn from each other as allies, not enemies." Across the world, people watched the alien ships retreat. The threat was not gone, but it had transformed. Humanity had proven its worth, not by sheer firepower, but by spirit, intelligence, and unity. The Queen's respect for humans was complete. She had underestimated them at first, but they had shown her that appearances could be deceiving. Small, seemingly fragile, yet brave, clever, and unyielding, humans had earned her admiration and her peace. In the days that followed, humans rebuilt, learned, and prepared. Scientists shared knowledge gained from captured alien technology, engineers improved defenses, and communities strengthened connections. Humanity had proven itself capable of surviving against overwhelming odds, and more importantly, it had proven that it could rise stronger every time. Captain Alex Mercer stood on the observation deck of the Defiant, looking at the planet he loved. He reflected on everything they had achieved, the ingenuity, the bravery, the unity, the courage of ordinary people turned extraordinary by circumstance. Lieutenant Harper joined him. "Sir, we did it. We survived. We won." Alex smiled. "Yes, Harper. But more than that, we've shown the galaxy that humans are warriors. Not because of our strength, but because of our spirit. That is something no one can take from us." Above, the alien Queen departed, her fleet retreating with respect rather than victory. She had witnessed the human spirit in full display. She had underestimated them before, but never again. Earth's people had proven themselves worthy of recognition, allies in intelligence, courage, and determination. And as the stars stretched across the night sky, humanity looked forward. They had survived. They had fought. They had earned respect from one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. And they would continue to grow, learn, and face whatever challenges the universe had in store. Captain Alex Mercer knew this was only the beginning. But he also knew this truth, the truth that had carried them through every encounter. When humans work together, adapt, and fight with courage, there is no force in the universe that can truly break them. Earth had real warriors. The Queen had seen them. And the galaxy would never forget.